Let's travel to Ireland. Yes, the Republic of Ireland. Let's get our Schengen visa. If you are a nurse, a midwife, or a mental health nurse who is looking to travel to Ireland to work in the healthcare setting, this video is for you. I'm going to take you through the requirements, the registration process, how long does the registration process take, and how much do you have to pay in order to complete your registration. I'll also leave links to job sites in Ireland where you can find nursing jobs as well. My name is Mordecai. This is the Nature and Lifestyle channel. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Now, let's start with the requirements. 1. You have to be a registered nurse in your home country with at least 3 years of nursing education. And I know in most countries, the 3 years of nursing education is equivalent to diploma. That means our enrolled nurses, our community health nurses, or other auxiliary nurses who don't have 3 years of nursing education are not eligible to do this application. Also, you have to get a valid traveling passport. And guys, the process of applying to join the Irish Nurse Register is quite lengthy. So I would advise you that if you are left with 3 or 6 months on your passport, you renew it before you start the application. You also have to submit your registration certificate to the Nursing and Midwifery Board of Ireland, that is the NMBI. And you also have to be in active practice. Guys, this is very important. You have to be in active practice. That means you have to still be working as a nurse or a midwife in order to apply to the NMBI. You also have to submit a police clearance form. This police clearance form is the same as DBS in the UK and also Access NI in Northern Ireland. If you are in Ghana, we call it the police clearance form. I don't know how it is called in different African countries, but you need to submit that document as part of the application process. You will also be required to pass your IELTS exams or your OET exams, and with the NMBI, they have a specific requirement. Watch this video to the end. I will go through the step-by-step processes of registering, and when I get to the English proficiency side, I'm going to tell you the requirements the NMBI are looking for. Then you also need to provide a transcript. When you complete your nursing education, you are given a transcript. Now this transcript, the NMBI will look at the transcript and they want to make sure that the education that you had at least is equivalent to the education that somebody who wants to work in Ireland should have. Another requirement is your qualification form, and with the qualification form, it is on the NMBI portal or on the NMBI website. You download it, you submit it to the educational institution where you had your nursing education. They will complete it. Then you upload it back onto the NMBI website. I will take you through that process as well. Then lastly, this is just an advice. If you don't have any working experience as a nurse, I will advise you not to apply. If you don't have any nursing experience or working experience on the field as a nurse, please do not apply. Gain your experience before you apply, because the NMBI are looking for experienced nurses. Not too much experience, but I think 1 year experience is okay for you to apply. So these are the requirements. Now, let's go through the processes of applying to the NMBI. Guys, to practice nursing and midwifery in Ireland, you need to go through a two-step process. So the first one is recognition of qualifications, and this involves comparison of your qualifications with the Irish education standard and requirement. So you remember, as part of the requirement, I spoke about a transcript. I spoke about your school filling this form that you need to upload. I also spoke about your qualification certificate. They will be reviewing all this document. Okay, so this is the first part of the process. The second part of the process is the registration process. So that means they will first verify your documents. If they are satisfied with it, then they will give you the go ahead to do your registration. So the very first thing you have to do is to set up my NMBI account, okay? So that's my NMBI account. Is your online portal where you'll be uploading your documents. You'll be checking the progress of your application, and NMBI will also be communicating to you via your email and also via my NMBI account. You need to create that account. It is free to create. You don't need to pay any money to create my NMBI account. I'll be leaving the link to creating this account in this video's description. After creating the account, you'll be asked a couple of questions, and these questions will help the NMBI to classify your application. So we have 3 classifications here. We have the G1, G2, and G3. But I have to say, if you are from any part of Africa, don't even worry yourself looking for the meaning of these things. You are automatically in G3, okay? If you are applying from any part of Africa, you are automatically in G3. If you are an African who has a nursing registration in any European country, then your classification may change. But if you are an African applying from Africa, or if you are an Asian applying from Asia, please, you'll be in G3. So let's move on. So after your classification, you'll be required to submit some documents, and the documents are the things I spoke about, the requirement I spoke about at the start of this video. Now, to submit these documents, the NMBI have some requirements, even in the submission of the document itself. 1, the document should be the first photocopy of the original document, not photocopy after photocopy. No. So the first photocopy of the original document, which is very clear, is the one you have to upload on the portal. Before you submit your document, you have to make sure that the photocopied document that you are submitting to the NMBI is certified by some authorities in your country. And these are the authorities the NMBI are saying they have to certify our document before we upload it to them. And the first one, a solicitor or a lawyer, a notary public, a peace commissioner, a justice of the peace, commissioner for oath, post office, and this is only for applicants in the United Kingdom, then Anne Garda Sociana in Ireland. So the last 2 are only in UK or Ireland. Now they have also put a notice here that those certifying the document must confirm that they have seen the original document, and they must state their full name and profession, and stamp, sign, and date the photocopy of the document. Now, having submitted these documents, they want you to take a second look at your demographic details, that is your personal details. It is very important that you check well to make sure you've not made any mistake. All the details you've given should be the same ones in your traveling passport. So if there are any changes in your name, then you need to make all those corrections. The last process with the verification of the document stage here is you pay 350 euros. Yes, 350 euros. So after you paid your 350 euros, you finish with the first process. After paying your 350 euros, it may take up to 3 months, okay? 3 months for the NMBI to get back to you, to give you the outcome of your assessment of the qualification document. Guys, after the 3 months, the NMBI will get back to you with either of these 4 possible outcomes. 4 possible outcomes. First, that your qualifications have been recognized. That is, you are successful. Secondly, that they require further documents. That is, probably you didn't submit all your documents, so they need more documents in order to recognize your qualification. The third possible outcome is you are required to successfully complete a compensation measure, okay? And this is usually with those of us applying from Africa, Asia, the Caribbean. We are mostly required to complete a successful compensation measure. Now, the fourth possible outcome is they do not recognize your qualification. They do not recognize your qualification. Now, let me delve deep into the third possible outcome. That is, you are required to successfully complete a compensation measure. Now, a compensation measure refers to a period of adaptation or an aptitude test that is to be successfully completed before we can recognize your qualification. Okay, guys, listen to this very well. So if the NMBI gets back to you that you need to complete a successful compensation measure, and you are a general nurse, it means two things for you. It's either you complete a period of adaptation or you do your aptitude test, okay? So period of adaptation or you do an aptitude test. If you are not a general nurse, but you are a mental health nurse, a disability nurse, a children's nurse, a midwife, or a nurse educator, you don't do any aptitude test. There is no aptitude test for these people. The only thing you do is a period of adaptation. A period of adaptation. And the period of adaptation here is between 6 weeks to 12 weeks, but can be extended, okay? Between 6 weeks to 12 weeks, but can be extended. This is a critical period during your application. During this period, you need to be very fast and get your job secured in Ireland. You need to apply for the jobs in Ireland and get your job secured because you have only 12 months from the date they give you that letter, from the date they get back to you that you need to go through a compensation period, okay? You need 12 months from that date to do all those things. That is, to do either your adaptation or to do your aptitude test. If after the 12 months you haven't done either your adaptation or the aptitude test, they will cancel your application and you will have to restart everything again. All the monies you paid will be wasted. So you need to be very, very fast here. I will leave links to job applications in Ireland inside this video description. So you just open and apply to those jobs. And once you find a care home or a hospital which is ready to take you through the adaptation period, this is what you do. So once you find a healthcare facility, you need to complete information on the hospital in My NMBI. That's the portal you created. And also upload a letter of confirmation of your adaptation hospital. So after the adaptation period, what happens? And guys, I'm reading this from the user guidelines provided by the NMBI. Okay. So when you start your placement, together with your preceptor, the person that's supervising your period of adaptation, you complete a competence assessment tool. The form can be downloaded from My NMBI, and once completed, you should upload it to My NMBI. Also, at the end of your period of adaptation, the Director of Nursing or Midwifery will complete a candidate eligibility report downloaded from My NMBI and send it by email to inform NMBI whether you successfully completed your period of adaptation. Okay, so this is what happens. Now, let's go to the aptitude test. So, your hospital, agency, or care home says, no, they will not do any adaptation period for you, but you have to do an aptitude test. So, let's look at how the aptitude test is. Now, it is in two parts. We have the theory or knowledge test or the multiple choice questions part, which must be successfully completed before the second part. And the second part is the part 2, also known as the OSCE. Okay, so it is part 1 theory, part 2 practical, which is also known as the OSCE. So after all this, okay, after you either complete your aptitude test or you complete your adaptation period. When you are successful, then you do your registration process. Now you log into your my NMBI portal that you created, okay? You log into that, then you answer some questions related to your English language competence. You upload the evidence of your English language competence, and here, guys, they accept two, okay? They accept two tests. That is either the IELTS test or the OET. If you are from countries like the UK, the US, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, you don't need to do IELTS. Your process is different. If you are from any part of Africa, if you are from the Caribbean or from the Middle East, from the Asian countries, you will need to do either your IELTS or your OET. Now, let's look at the requirement for the IELTS and the OET. Now, for the Irish board or the NMBI, they require you to get at least an overall band score of 7. That is at least 7. Now, with each of the modules of the IELTS, that is the listening, the reading, the writing, and the speaking, you can get 6.5 in either of them, 6.5 in either of them, and it will still be accepted. So if you get 6.5 in speaking, you have to get 7 in the others. 6.5 in writing, you have to get 7 in others. So that is how the Irish board wants their IELTS result to be. For those doing the OET exams, the Irish board wants you to get at least B in the 3 of the 4 modules of the OET. Then C in either of them, C plus in either of them. So if you get C plus in either of the 4 modules of the OET, the Irish board will accept the result. So after they have verified your English language competence, they will ask you some questions relating to your registration application. Then also provide you a list of some documents to submit again. This means that the document I spoke in the requirements, some will be asked in the first part of the application, some will also be asked during the registration process. Now, after submitting those documents, you need to submit a declaration, okay? You need to submit a declaration. Then you have to review your personal details again. They don't want any mistakes done. Then you also pay your £145 registration fee. Remember, we have already paid £350 fee for verification of our documents. Now, for the registration, we have to pay £145 registration fee. Now, after paying this £145 registration fee, you check in my application section of my NMBI, the registration application will appear. Once the application progresses through the process, the status of the application will be updated in real time. Okay. Now, the NMBI staff will review the documents submitted and make sure that they are correct and valid and authentic. A provisional registration decision will be made. So after all this, they will make a provisional registration decision. After they getting back to you, if they accepted your application, your registration, and they are issuing you a provisional license, you accept the decision. If they refuse your registration, you can appeal. You have some days to appeal, and you have some money that you have to pay for your appeal. Okay. So, guys, I hope you understood this. In a nutshell, this is the whole application process for nurses, midwives, mental health nurses who are looking to apply to work in Ireland. My name is Mordecai. This is the Nature and Lifestyle channel. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Thank you very much for watching us today. See you another time.